Hi guys, welcome back to the Tech Diary. That didn't sound right. The Tech Diary. This is my second channel where I take forever to get to the point sometimes, although today I think I will just get straight into it. By the way, sorry about the unshaven appearance. It's Tech-tember, as they say, where everything happens at once, and yeah, it's just very, very busy. There's two things I want to talk about Apple-wise today, and they are products that I haven't featured on the main channel yet. They are coming to the main channel, but not at the moment because so much is happening. They are the AirPods Pro 3, which are in here. It looks different. That's because, not sponsored by the way in this particular video, I'm using an ESR case for them, but they're in there, I promise. And the thing that's in here, which we'll do last, I think, and there's something attached to this year which is quite personal to me, and I think I might as well just talk about it a little bit. But yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. I thought first of all, let's talk about the AirPods Pro 3. Now, I don't want to give away too much with this. One, because that's what we do as YouTubers. We want you to wait until the big review where we talk about them in detail. But secondly, because I've not had them for that long. So I had a bit of an issue with the delivery for both of these things where, I won't go into the details, but basically we missed it and I had to get it re-delivered. And because of that, I'm a little bit behind with it in terms of my testing and that sort of stuff. But I have just spent the last 3 days traveling abroad with these. So I've used them on planes, I've used them on the train, I've used them, where else? In busy cafes, in a hotel, everywhere, walking down the street, all that sort of stuff. And I've really put them to the test in a very short space of time. Oh, I've been running with them as well, so I've been out and about running. I've taken them to the gym and sweated it out with them as well. And I'm starting to form quite an interesting opinion on the AirPods Pro 3. How much of this do I make a review? It's really tricky, this. I think I can give you just first impressions. I think I'll do that. Like I said, I don't want to give away too much, but let's just talk about the main things. So the main thing being the fit in the ear. Where else would you put them? Where's this going? No, the fit, because Apple made quite a big thing about the new tip they've used, and also the shape and the fact they've redesigned these apparently to fit in more people's ears. Now, excuse me. The concern that I had over that is that the AirPods Pro and the AirPods Pro 2 have never been a problem for me. Compared to the regular AirPods, where I can't use the regular AirPods because my right ear is fine, but my left ear, for some reason, does not accept a regular AirPod. It just falls out all the time. It's really annoying because the AirPods the AirPods 4 are amazing, but I can't use them. It's really irritating. So the AirPods Pro have always worked perfectly for me. They fit nicely in my ears with the, I think I always use the medium, whatever tip comes on by default. It just works for me. Put them in, they don't come out. I can run, I can shake my head, do all that sort of stuff. And they're absolutely fine. So my worry with these is that because Apple has redesigned them for more people apparently, they would have the opposite effect on me and not fit. The good news is they do fit. Now, there is a slight thing I found with them, which is that when I run, they make a noise. They do that kind of horrible noise that I get with certain other earbuds. I don't get them with the AirPods Pro 2. I need longer just to make sure that wasn't the particular run that I went on, and maybe there was something in the air. I don't know. I need a bit longer with them. That's the only thing I've noticed. But in terms of the fit, they... That was close. Nearly dropped them in my coffee. Right, let's put them in. In terms of the fit, I'm just looking at myself in the monitor there. Another thing I've noticed is that they do tend to stick out a little bit more, these ones. I think it's to do with the new silicon. Is it silicon? Oh, I can't think what it is. No, it's not silicon. It's whatever it is. People in the comments get involved. They've used a different type of ear tip material. I wish I could think what it's called because it's used in lots of earbuds. My brain's gone dead. Anyway, it's more pliable, I think. It's not the kind that you kind of squish and then put in and then let expand. It doesn't do that. They still feel very similar, actually, but they are a different material. But I think that the effect of that different material is that they tend to stick out a bit more. They stay rigid in your ears, whereas the other ones settle down like that in AirPods Pro 2. But regardless of that, that doesn't really matter. The fit is fine. I didn't need to worry about that. It's absolutely fine. And they haven't fallen out, etc. So, fit, fantastic. The sound I will leave for the main review. I'm not going to go into the audio now. Again, that's something that Apple could have got wrong because the AirPods Pro 2 were really good. So please don't ruin it. But like I say, I will return on the main channel with my full review of the audio, as I will with the noise cancelling. The only thing I will say about the noise cancelling on these is that it's very, very good. But then the AirPods Pro 2 were very, very good. And what I haven't done yet is do the A/B test, which I need to do. That will... Sorry, there's always something driving past this studio, normally a tractor. I'm not making that up, by the way. How can it be better? So I do need to do the A/B testing for that. The one thing I will say is that the pass-through mode, the transparency mode, as Apple calls it, which is when you let the outside world in, is incredible. Again, I've not A/B tested them against the AirPods Pro 2, but it's genuinely like they're not in your ears. I've got it turned on now, so if I turn on noise cancelling by squeezing that, okay, noise cancelling is on. That feels very strange because I'm talking and I can't hear myself properly. But if I squeeze again, turn on transparency, it's 90% as though they're not in your ears, unless you think about them being there, in which case you feel them. But the audio, my voice now, the kind of the sound of the studio, it's just all there. It's unbelievable how good Apple is with this. That if you go right back to the AirPods Max, which is a long time ago when they first came out, they are still the best over-ear headphones on the market when it comes to transparency. The only pair of headphones that's come close very recently is the Bowers & Wilkins PX8S2, which I reviewed earlier this week, which came out earlier this week, obviously. And they're very close to the AirPods Max on that. But Apple has this almost like a monopoly. It's not a monopoly, but almost like a monopoly on transparency mode. I don't know why. It's just incredible with these. So yeah, I could just leave them in. I won't, but they are incredibly good with that. The live translation is really interesting because, one, I've not tested it by talking to someone, but I did go to Germany this week, and I thought let's just see if it works for things like, you know, the announcements on the plane and all that sort of stuff. And it does work. I need longer with it, obviously, but if you're wondering how it works, because I had no idea how this worked, when you've got your AirPods in, what you do is press and hold, or press and squeeze, if you like, both earbuds at the same time for about a second to 1 or 2 seconds, and then that starts the live translation. But what it does is it starts the translation app on your iPhone. So in the background on your iPhone, on your iPhone, the translation app kicks into life. And I think you have to choose which language first. I don't think it auto detects the language. Again, I'll spend more time with it, but you choose the language into which language you want it to translate into, and then in your earbuds, it does exactly what it says on the tin, basically, and how Apple displayed it and showed it on the keynote. In your ear, you hear the translation in your native language of whatever the other person's saying. It's relatively quick. It's not immediate. It takes a little while to do it, but it does work. And on the Translate app, if you go into the Translate app on here, you can see what it's doing. So you can see on here that it's translating. Now, I think the iPhone does the the iPhone definitely does the translating, but I'm fairly sure it's the iPhone that is listening. Because when I tried it, I think it was with an announcement or something, the iPhone said, can you move this, try moving the phone closer or something like that. So I think the iPhone's doing most of the work, which then makes you think, well, actually, are these just then turning translation on the iPhone and then just relaying what the iPhone's doing? I'm not entirely sure, because it is so mad at the minute. I haven't had time to look into this properly. If you know more about that, by the way, get involved. If you've been trying it yourself, if you've got any real instances of using it where you've been abroad somewhere and you've been speaking to someone maybe in a restaurant or getting directions or something, and you've had to you've tried the live translation thing on AirPods Pro 3, let me know. I'm really interested by how this is all working. So that is my very quick brief review, if you can call it that, of the AirPods Pro 3. I mean, what I'll be doing on the main channel with the more in-depth video for this is answering the big question, I think, really, which is, do you upgrade from the AirPods Pro 2? Is it worth it? If you've spent money on AirPods Pro 2 a year ago, for example, or even 2 years ago, is it worth upgrading to these? And equally, if you've got the AirPods Pro 1, is it worth upgrading? I think we all know the answer to that, possibly. Yeah, they are... I like this case, by the way. Like, this is not a sponsored video for ESR, but I put them straight into this ESR case, and it's chunky, but it gives you a bit of reassurance about not scratching the case and all that sort of stuff. So that's AirPods Pro 3. The next thing, he says, needing a quick slurp of coffee, is what's in here. You've probably guessed what's in here. Maybe you haven't, I don't know. It's an Apple Watch. Which Apple Watch? It's the Apple Watch Ultra 3. Excuse me, voice is really going. The Apple Watch Ultra 3. Now, on my wrist at the moment, I have an Apple Watch Ultra 2, which I am going to take off because it's about to be replaced. Sorry. I've been really happy with the Apple Watch Ultra 2. It's been a bit of a wake-up call for me, because I was, as much as I liked the Ultra 1, I got fed up with the battery life, and I didn't particularly... I think over time, the look of that watch, I didn't particularly enjoy. Then I got hold of the black version of the Ultra 2. And 1, it looks 1,000 times better because it's black. And 2, it's got better battery life. It's still nowhere near Garmin, obviously. It's nowhere near some of the Huawei watches that have come out recently. But it's not bad, actually. And it charges quickly, so even when you do run low, it doesn't matter too much. So, but by the way, I get loads of questions about which watch strap this is. It's Nomad. Again, not sponsored. We will put a link down below. It might be an affiliate link, so we get commission, all that sort of stuff, just so you know. But yeah, it's a Nomad watch strap. They do lots of different colours. And because I'm obsessed with orange things, that is the one that I went for. Anyway, we have the Apple Watch Ultra 3 in here, which I've saved the unboxing for you guys, basically. So let's get it out of here. I've only got one camera set up, by the way. We haven't gone for multiple cameras on this one because we don't do that on the Tech Diary. This is very rough and ready. So it's all here. Okay, there's the box, which is very nice. That's an embossed. Is that the right one? I always get these the wrong way around. Embossed. No, or is it? It's the opposite. It's a recessed logo, basically. I know people, I love YouTube for this. People will immediately tell me what the word that I'm missing in the comment section. Anyway, yeah, nice, and yes, it's just really nice. Again, Apple nails unboxing experiences. So we open these 2 tabs here, I presume, and then we unwrap gently that, throw that down there, and we get two packages here. No, 3 things. 4. No, 3. Okay, I love they do this. I'd forgotten about this. So this is the booklet that you get with the Apple Watch Ultra 3, and if we open it up, it's got these lovely diagrams of the watch, how it works. It's just such a nice thing. Shows you how to charge it, which is obviously really, really complicated. And there's some other stuff in here. Oh, do we get stickers? Are there stickers? Tim, have you done away with stickers completely? Yes, you have, haven't you? Just some, whatever that is, warranty information stuff. But yeah, regardless, I mean, I'll never read that, but it's just really nice, isn't it? Very nicely designed, like that. It gives you a bit of a kind of feeling for what to expect from this watch. And the watch is in here, but before that, very quickly, the strap that I went for, I've completely forgotten. What is it? It's the trail loop. I went for the trail loop, which I think, is this the one that glows in the dark a little bit? Possibly, I'm not sure. We'll open that. In fact, let's open this first. Let's do the strap first. That always works with Apple stuff as well. A lot of other brands, they have these tear-off things that tear off halfway, or just the first part of it comes off and it doesn't work. Apple's stuff, unboxing stuff, always works. Right, okay, again, diagrams for how to put the watch strap on. I pulled this out. Oh, this is nice. Here it is, the trail. Is it? I forgot already, it's the trail loop, isn't it? Yeah, trail loop. I went for the medium large. I think I always go for that. But there it is. Let's take it out of here. Slightly less elegant, but we've done it. And there is your trail loop, the blue version. That's quite nice. It's not orange, but there you go. Yeah, okay. I think that's all right. Okay, the main event, the Ultra 3. Now, they haven't really done much in terms of the design of this watch. It's the same, it's going to look the same as this, basically. I think with a slightly bigger display, because the bezels are slightly smaller, and a brighter display as well. 3000 nits, I believe, which is enough. I mean, the current Ultra 2 is enough. The Ultra 1 was enough as well. They're very bright watches. I've never had a problem seeing what's on them in terms of it being very, when it's very bright and that sort of stuff. So, what was I saying? It's because I'm not really paying attention, but that didn't work, did it? Oh dear, okay. Right, let's open this. And, oh yeah, they're very nice. So, let's not drop it. That's what the inside of the packaging looks like. So we have the designed by Apple in California with the, I guess that's the location of Apple Park, maybe, on there, with the grid coordinates. This is the charging puck. Now, I keep mentioning this because I think it is important, and not many people mention it. Apple has, over the last 18 months, I think, they've really been working on their cable quality, because we get these lovely braided cables now, which are sometimes in the same colour as the product that you've bought. Not in this case. It would be nice if it was a black version, but there you go. But yeah, it's just very high quality cable. That matters for someone like me who's very fastidious about this sort of stuff. When you're spending a lot of money, and this is not a cheap smartwatch at all, to get a cheap, horrible cable, and again, some brands do this, then they're not very nice cables, they're USB-A for some reason. To get a nice quality cable that's nicely packaged, it makes a difference. I know some people don't agree with me on that kind of thing, but it really does. Right, let's take this out. Unboxing this part elegantly isn't quite as simple. There we go. Let's take that out there. Also, I will say about the Apple Watch charger itself, it's one of the smallest on the market. So there it is. They're obviously very nicely designed, but some of the watch chargers are huge. So for instance, the Huawei watch charger is like about that big. It's massive, probably about twice the size of this. Some of them are a bit fiddly, and Apple still, I think, is the best, but that's a very nice cable. Nice cable, nice little charging puck. Right, here we go. Let's get the Apple Watch out itself. Here it is. Ready? Let's do the peel. Very unelegantly as well. In fact, let's try and do it elegantly, shall we? Open that part there and just slip it out. Don't drop it, Mark. Even though it's the Ultra one and it should take everything, it should take all kinds of beating. Okay, well, this might be a bit of a anticlimax, but here it is, the Apple Watch Ultra 3. It looks identical. Let me just take, I need to be careful not to get these two mixed up. Let me just take the strap off that one. So this is the Apple Watch Ultra 2, and this is the Apple Watch Ultra. Why do I find Ultra such a hard word to say? There they are. Number 2, number 3. They look identical. I think yeah, in fact, it's all identical, I think. I can't see any difference at all anywhere. Yeah, everything is the same. It looks identical. Let's turn it on. I probably won't have time to get it set up, actually, to be fair. But let's just make sure it works. Why wouldn't it? I shouldn't say this. Touch wood, I've never had an Apple product dead on arrival, but this one isn't either, so there you go. It's turning on. Now, I won't go any further with it than that, because again, I do have a full review that will be coming in about a month's time, towards the end of October, I think we're doing it. Because again, I want to spend some time with it, and this brings me on to my my reason for kind of investing more time in the Apple Watch this year in particular. And that's because I'm going on my own little health journey at the moment. It's nothing, I'd say it's nothing big. I mean, everything's relative, isn't it? But if you used to watch my newsletter videos, because this used to be the newsletter, if you didn't know that, I used to do a week, we definitely still do a weekly newsletter. You may have found this video through the newsletter, but about a year ago, we'd spent the previous 4 years making these weekly newsletter videos, which were hidden. They were kind of private, and it sounds weird, but they were hidden from public view, and you only got them if you got my weekly email. They're now the Tech Diary. We've made it public and whatever, but you may remember, if you used to watch those newsletter videos, about 3 years ago, I had an issue with my eye. And it's a horrible thing. It's called toxoplasmosis, and you get it, I've had it from birth, basically. And it's only now it's decided to wave its hand and say, hey, I'm here. And it impacted the rear of my left eye 3 years ago, which resulted in a trip to hospital and high pressure in the eye, and it left a scar. So it left a scar on the rear of my eye, which has basically left this weird kind. My right eye, by the way, is absolutely fine, but the left eye, this weird kind of thing in my peripheral vision right at the top up here somewhere, which I can only really see if I close my right eye. I know it's there. It's one of those things that if you keep thinking about it, you can tell it's there. But if I've got both eyes open, your brain is I've learned a lot about sight over the last 3 years, and your brain does most of the seeing. Your eyes are just these kind of things that kind of take in the information, and your brain is just an amazing thing. So it fills in any gaps, basically. And also, we all have a natural blind spot. Did you know that? These videos go all over the place, don't they? Who'd have thought I'd be talking about medical stuff in this video? But yeah, we all have a natural blind spot, I think, in both eyes. Fairly sure. But again, the brain fills it in, a bit like your nose. You don't notice your nose is there unless you think about it, because the brain fills in those gaps. Anyway, so this happened 3 years ago. And I was told back then that it probably wouldn't ever happen again. You've just been a bit unlucky with this one. Crack on. It happened again, and you may remember 2 or 3 weeks ago, I published a video just after the IFA trade show in Berlin, where I was sat here wearing sunglasses. The sunglasses were this was on the main channel, by the way. The sunglasses were a prop. I had no issue. I've got no issue with like light sensitivity or anything like that. It was just me being a bit silly and doing a super Saf impression. Really bad one. But yeah, it came back, basically, and it came back while I was in Berlin, to the point where I just had to fly home because I knew something wasn't right. It's not painful, by the way. It's one of those things where it happens and it's just something's not right, and you know that you need to get it sorted. So it's a bit of almost like a silent infection that does its thing and doesn't really bother you about it until you notice it. So yeah, flew back early, and it was just a carbon copy of what happened 3 years ago. And I'm on medication and stuff now. We're bringing down it's all about inflammation, bringing the inflammation down, and it will leave another scar, which is now down here somewhere in this left eye, in this peripheral vision. But I did the right thing in coming home and getting it sorted. So one thing I would say is I'm 45 next month, and I've always been pretty healthy. Touch wood, I've not really had any big health problems. But you do notice when you get into your 40s that little things keep creeping in, and this is one of those things that has reared its head. And you just start to really value life more, which sounds weird, but I think you coast through life when you're younger, and don't worry about too much. And I think your mortality becomes more relevant and more top of mind when you get into your 40s. So the only thing I would say, and I'm not a doctor, and you're probably better at me than about this sort of stuff. If you suspect anything, just go and get it sorted out. The old me would not have left Berlin early. I'd have stayed there and done the stuff we were doing. But no, it was the right thing to do, because health is wealth, as they say. So yeah, it happened again, and it's again moving on from the kind of the health aspect of it. We're getting that sorted. It has put a new focus for me on my health, and in particular sleep. Sleep is huge. Again, I'm not an expert at all, but I've read up a lot on it recently, and I've spent the last few years listening to people talking about it on podcasts and things, and everyone says the same thing, which is it's one of the best and most healthy things you can do, one of the most beneficial things you can do for your body and your mind and everything, to get enough sleep. And I get all these, all these watches and smart rings and bands and things, and I look at the sleep tracking, but I never pay attention to it. And when this happened again, I thought, right, I've got to make a few changes, really. One of them being sleep, because I sleep well, but I go to bed very late sometimes and get up too early, and I don't get my 8 hours, my 7-8 hours, basically. I've not done that for most of my life, to be honest. And the more you look into it, the more you realize that sleep helps with reducing inflammation, and which is what the problem that I have with this, and a whole bunch of a huge number of other things. And it's such an easy thing to get right, even if you have a kid like I do. We've got a 3-year-old son, so sleep is sometimes just a thing that you kind of wish for, but a lot of that is excuses. So I'm focusing more now, much more intently on my sleep. So I have been keeping track of the new sleep score thing that Apple has done on watchOS 26. And that makes the watch that I'm wearing even more important to me to a massive degree. And the Apple Watch, I still think, is much further ahead than a lot of other brands when it comes to some of this stuff. Just the combination of health tracking things they have, beyond sleep, the sleep apnea thing, but also the heart stuff. My family's got a history of heart disease, and that's always on my mind. It's why I've always worked out a lot and try and eat the right food and all that sort of stuff. So the fact that it has all that stuff built into it, I know it's not a doctor, and they make it very clear that this isn't going to save your life in that respect, but it could make the difference in terms of, one, making sure that you get enough sleep and keeping you on top of that, but also just giving you those little indications that something may not be right. You may just want to go and have a chat with your doctor. So for me, this it's no different, let's be honest. It's very, very similar to the Apple Watch Ultra 3, but for me, this is going to be a very personal health device, which it means a lot to me already, and mainly because of the sleep thing. But I'd love to know from you guys, actually, is this something which you yourself, are you also looking to use the Apple Watch or another product for this kind of thing? Have you had your own health journey? You don't have to share this stuff. Obviously, it's one of those things which is very personal to each person. But if you want to, go for it. But yeah, have you had your own health thing where you're using this technology to keep an eye on what's going on with your body, with your mind, etc.? I'd love to know, because I think, the older you get, the more you think about this sort of stuff. And it has been a challenging 3 weeks for me. I won't lie. It's been pretty tough, because something's happened which I didn't think was going to happen again, and it could happen again. By the way, I won't mention his name because that's not fair. He probably doesn't want me to. But a viewer of the main channel, I'm not sure if he watches this channel, he got in touch, and he is a specialist in the thing that I've got in my left eye, and he's been incredibly helpful, and the prognosis, it actually isn't too bad, but I wouldn't have known that without speaking to him. So you know who you are if you're watching this. Thank you so much. How long has this video been? So long. Time to shut up, I think. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. I don't know what this video has been really, but hopefully it's been interesting. As I say, we do have full reviews of the AirPods Pro 3 and the Apple Watch Ultra 3 coming to the main channel I think the AirPods Pro 3 will be next week, and the Apple Watch will be a bit later, in October or early November, something. Anyway, I'll shut up. Stop talking, Mark. Have a coffee. Get some work done, and leave you lot alone. Thanks, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, you know what to do. Like, comment, all the rest of it, and I'll catch you next week. Cheers.